Where my girls at? Independent, free spirit. Ooh, it's so serious. Where my girls at? We linked up in a cool minute. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. Where my girls at? It's going down, down. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight. Yeah, right. We going out tonight. It's going down tonight. Yeah, right. It's going down tonight. We going out tonight.
Down. It's going down tonight. It is going down tonight. Well, great evening, everybody. You are tuned into We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship on 9:10 a.m. The Superstation. We're excited to be here. We are with you Monday through Friday from 6 to 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we love coming to share with you some light, some laughter, and some lessons. I tell you, we talk about it all right here on We Got Issues. You know why? Because we got issues, okay? All of us got issues. But I'm excited to be here on today. We have an amazing guest that is joining us, and we're going to get to him right away. But before we do, I'm excited that we have all the girlfriends. They are here and accounted for. Caterina Harris Earl on the West Coast holding it out. Hey. We got Gloria Mayfield Banks, Ellicott City in the house. And of course, you know, she's happy today because the sun is shining and it's hot. Sabrina Goodwin Monday, Geneva on the Lake, Ohio. We are all here. We are all excited. And we want you to call a neighbor, call a friend. We want you to join us on the show on today because we have the judge. The judge is in the house. Judge Greg Mathis is with us on today, and we are so excited to hear about what is going on with him and his family. And I'm sure if you call in and ask him a question, he will probably, in Judge Mathis style, answer it for you with some humor. That number to call is 313-778-7600. Again, that's 313-778-7600. Well, you guys know an hour goes by so fast. It really, really does. So without further ado, we're excited to bring on our guest for today, none other than Judge Greg Mathis. Let's welcome him to We Got Issues.
Thank y'all. Thanks for having me.
We are excited to have you on today. We got a judge in the house, so we're gonna have to be on our best behavior. Okay, we're gonna try to be on our best behavior. But before we meet him, I just want to introduce him to those of you who may not know, and you will probably have to live under a rock if you have never heard of Judge Greg Mathis, but we absolutely want to share just a little bit of his bio. His bio is extensive. And one of the things, let me just personally say this, that I love about Judge Mathis is that with all the fame and all the things that he is doing, he absolutely still loves the city of Detroit. He is a native son of Detroit, and he comes back so often to make sure that he lends his support to everything that's going on in the city. So I just want you to know, Judge Mathis, that we truly appreciate you being a native of Detroit, and Gloria also a native of Detroit. And so we're excited. Right. And so without further ado, we know, Judge Mathis, you are a philanthropist. You've done so much with community involvement, social justice. And one of the things that I really love is that your story is one of redemption, grace, grit, and tremendous success, all wrapped in one. Judge Mathis is a national figure and father known for his advocacy campaigns for urban youth and equal justice. He is the longest running African-American male host on television. Come on, Michael, give him a big hand for that. That is so awesome. Yes. His inspirational life story of a street youth who rose from jail to judge has provided hope to millions who who watch him on the Emmy Award winning television court show, Judge Mathis. And now he is sharing what life is like with his family on E's Mathis Family Matters. One of the things that I so appreciate, Judge Mathis, about you is the fact that when all of that was going down in Flint with the contamination of the water,
Right.
you came to Detroit, you led a rally challenging Flint's city officials to fix the water pipes. You also delivered over 10,000 bottles of water by 18-wheeler trucks to the people affected by that crisis. And so we appreciate that. And then all of the things that you are still giving back to the city of Detroit. The Judge Mathis Community Center has assisted thousands of youth, and your nonprofit.
Well, much of my charity is also spent over at Greater Grace, them being the most service-oriented church in Detroit, perhaps in the country. So thank you for letting me serve alongside you and Bishop Ellis in the work that you are doing in the community. So thank you for all the compliments. I'm not going to let you go any further.
Okay, great.
I'm starting to believe that stuff. So
okay, great. Well, we appreciate that. You know what? That just tell us when you know who you are, you don't have to hear everything about you. I mean, you have so many awards. And let me just say, congratulations on being awarded a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yes.
That right there is absolutely awesome. Well, without further ado, we're just going to dive right in. And again, we're excited about your new show that you have that's coming on E! And it is Mathis Family Matters. And I know this is going to be a little bit different than what you are accustomed to. So let's just open it up and tell us a little bit about, what's going on in your life. And I also wanted you to just touch on really, really quickly, Judge Mathis, if you will, because so many people may not know your story, your redemption story, and all that you went through. So if you were just going to, in a quick nutshell, give your top 3 things of from where you were to where you are now, what would that be?
Certainly, and I've it's old news to talk about so many years, but guess what? It's a whole generation I'm finding know nothing about my journey.
That's right.
And I'm becoming more and more surprised by that. So much so that we're looking at some other ways to inspire with my history, my journey. And so yes, street youth. Never made it past the 11th grade because I went to jail for carrying a gun, tried as an adult at age 17. While in jail, my mom told me that she was about to die of cancer, the doctor told her, and asked me if I'd straighten my life out. And so 9 months later, after coming home, I did just that, got a GED and was accepted into college under affirmative action program. Unfortunately, my mother died 3 months in, but I was in college. And then I became took a couple of year transition. And that's what I need folks to know, that it's still a transition period. You don't go from sinner to saint, as you all know, First Lady and the other sisters. And so it was a transition period. Those first 2 years on campus, I was still doing a little lightweight hustling. In fact, that's how I met my wife, Linda, as a student. I was flipping 3-card Molly, and she came and flipped the card over and didn't have no money down and said, "Yeah, it's a con game." And she's had my number ever since. Yes. So that was the transition period. But by my 3rd year, after seeing the contradictions in society, I grew up in the Herman Gardens project, tough projects. By the time I was there, it was one of the worst in the country by the time I left. And so I hadn't seen a lot outside of poverty. And so when I got to college and saw all this middle class lifestyles, all these folks living good, I made the analysis. I say, hey, it's because we're locked in poverty and they're living a good life here in college. What happened? And so the analysis ultimately was social injustice. And so I said, well, I'm going to fight for the people who I came up with living in poverty and have so many challenges in life. And the best way to fight is with the weapon of a good education and knowledge, and fight back by getting involved in the social justice movement. So I went from college involved in campus protests. I was president of NAACP on campus, many things. And then lastly, once I came out of college, worked in politics, first for the city council, Reverend Jackson, Mayor Young, and then ran for judge after practicing law. And by the way, in the last statement, I know you said it was brief, but I'm telling the things that are most important, and that is they withheld my law license for 3 years after I passed the bar exam because of the record that had been expunged. The state bar asked if you had an expunged record and explained. Well, that defeated the purpose. And once I explained my conviction, they withheld my license. I had to go to the state Supreme Court to win it. So my point I'm saying is I never gave up. And brothers, we can't give up, punk out, run back to the corner. If you're strong, if you're macho, if you're all that, then fight back until you overcome those obstacles. Don't run back to the street because the white man say boo. Fight back. Go join whoever can help with the struggle that you're involved in. So that's been my life, and my life has continued doing that. A life for
Wow, that is so powerful. And we appreciate you sharing that, because like you said, there are generations of young people that know nothing about your story. And I think it's just so powerful when you hear those stories, because some people think if you start off on a wrong foot, that's how it has to end. But you are a clear example of it's not where you start, it's where you finish. So that's exciting. That's exciting. So as we get ready to come upon a break in just a few minutes, I know the internet, Judge, can you hear us? I know your internet is kind of, okay. That's okay. That's okay.
Black folks who are professional, yes, they have obstacles, each and every one of them, like everyday people, but we show an example of how to overcome those obstacles. Like, yeah, fine, sure. Wasn't really interested in doing it, to be honest, but I didn't think he would be successful. And so when he came back and he said, I got it, I said, okay, well, here are the ground rules. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I will not participate the next day. If there is any day that we argue or act a fool on television, I'm not going to be a part of that. So it all has to be fun. And believe me, it is fun. What you see on television with me is the opposite of what you see on the show. And although at home, they treat me like somebody, a standby, a bystander, and no one listens to anything I have. And so I'm really a chump if you look at it once you see it. But I'm doing what I got to do to stay relevant within that family and try and exercise some authority. But
Awesome, awesome. Oh my goodness. We can't wait to hear more about your new show on Mathis Family Matters. You are listening to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship on 9:10 a.m. The Superstation. Our guest today is the one and only Judge Greg Mathis. We'll be right back after this break. All right. Thank you, Michael. Here come the judge. Judge Greg Mathis is in the house today with We Got Issues, and we're talking about his new reality show. We are so excited about this new show. We have a caller. Marathon, are you on the line?
Are you there, Marathon? You're live on the air. Okay. Well, we're going to come back to Marathon. Judge Mathis, you still there, right? Yes, I am. Okay. I'm so blessed with this promise to have it explained that I came to the studio. I'm here in the studio where we make the first Mathis. I just came to explain it. You know what? That's okay. As long as we have your voice, that's good enough. Everything else
stories of him growing up in Chicago. My question is about, you know, being in that the Hollywood life. I would love to hear about raising kids. I heard you talk about your concern about raising kids in that environment. And, you know, I'm a Californian. I hear a lot of people that come and want to get into Hollywood and into entertainment. And I would love for you to talk about successfully navigating that as a father.
First step was making sure their formative years were there in Detroit. Strong foundation that they gathered my children. Then my daughter took the Renaissance and graduated there. All throughout the years growing up, they took the place of natural institution, the Church of God Christ. I have there at the church. They went and played basketball even after we moved, and I was on top of it. When we moved out to a better community in the Detroit area, or to a better community in the Detroit area, I took off down to Grafton and Mathis. So Grafton and all right. They played basketball on both teams. But I had to get around it before we went out, and thank God we were able to maintain that. But for those who are unable to ground their children before going there, the best way of grounding children, in my opinion, is to look at other grounded children. And that would be church, recreation opportunities, acting, dancing, and singing classes, all those things. My granddaughter now is up to be soon going to the Debbie Allen dance troupe of the Jordan. Young lady. Going to Bible church, children's church, etc. That's Baptist Church of God Christ. And so we found it by making sure there's a balance. So that we can be good examples of our community, and as they navigate tough examples that they see in the general population in that upper income household. That is so good. Thank you so much for that. You know, I'm not Hollywood at all. I've never really embraced that life. I always correct people when they call me a celebrity. I said, no, I'm not a celebrity. I'm just about to be on television. I said, I'm no celebrity. Don't take it. Don't take it. 8 years of college and have a farm family and 80,000 folks for Detroit. You got to take that. I love that you talk about how important it is around your children and make sure that they know that something is life and that they can relate to. Yeah, there is no really being all of the family, but they know the other side. I just think you can have children that are well-rounded and so we're not focusing on mind, have great women on the mind, great scenarios. Good evening. I truly thank you for this opportunity. Mr. Mathis, Judge Mathis, Honorable Judge Mathis, what's the best to you? And it was something you said in the bio that I did not hear before. And with your story, you say to me something very inspired. Possible that you could actually participate in some kind of voting movement here in the city of Detroit before August to inspire me to just talk 15 minutes on a platform to inspire our young people and our older people to find out where your success came from and talk to them directly and just to inspire them. Your Judge Mathis Center on Greenfield over there. Conflict actually is beacon for the people. They need leadership, even though you're 1,000 miles away, but we still resonate in clouds here in Detroit. Is anything possible that you can get back in that particular way? I do it all the time. I kind of leave most of the leadership to the mayor you all elected. I'm not going to run and talk. I'm going to let y'all go to somebody else and then hand it over to me to of that political leadership. Just as you don't like the word celebrity, but you are clearly a stamp in the city. And just your presence can actually move things. I mean, you're highly respected. And I'm not a Detroiter, but I'm an implant for the last 12 and a half years. And your name rings so much. But just in the point of...
Believe me, I use it. Thank you. I'll do better. Thank you.
Hey, Grace, we appreciate you calling, but we just had the come back home to Detroit Public Schools, and Judge Mathis was there. Matter of fact, that's where we had a chance to reconnect, and he was so gracious to agree to come on the show. And just listening to some of the things that he's already doing in the Detroit metropolitan area, I didn't even
Judge Mathis, that you come home to Detroit as often as you do. So we truly appreciate all that you do, because you are extremely busy, but the fact that you make time for Detroit is awesome. But Grace, thank you so much for your call. Okay, I'm gonna
throw it over to Gloria. And Gloria, you had a question that you wanted to ask.
Yeah, first I have to say Detroit, and Detroit one more time, and I'll say it one more time, Detroit. So we're so proud of you and all that you've done. I want you to talk a little bit about the time when you had to make a decision, when you were discovered to be on TV, and you had to make a decision to change your career. I think that a lot of people have to step outside their comfort zone. And I think that you did an awesome job in so many ways. You told your story, how you stepped outside your comfort zone.
On one hand, stepped outside your comfort zone, but you also stayed so grounded with where you were. I do want to say that Detroit people are very grounded in our community. There's something about that city and the way that we're raised in that city, because it's so much South in that city of Detroit. Our history is there. So what happened for you? Take us way, way back when someone said, why don't you be a judge on TV? 23 years ago, what happened? How did you get discovered and stay grounded at the same time?
And when I ran for judge, they brought out my field record, which had been received from the Bar Association, and the media attacked me. And so when they attacked me, it all ends, hoping to kill my campaign by revealing my history. The voters died because I had served. So I tell people that all the time. If you serve the community will have your back. So it backfired, and I was elected as the youngest judge in Michigan history 15 years after leaving jail. And so the word went out to the nation that a former gang leader became youngest judge in Michigan history 15 years out of jail. And so that's when all Hollywood producers began calling about movies and television shows. So the result of 80,000 voters in Detroit who believed in it.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. What was your biggest hesitation? Did you have a hesitation when all that?
Yeah, they explained to me it was only a 20% chance of success. 80% of all television shows fail. And I had a secure judgeship and was prepared to run for higher office in Detroit. And so, however, I decided that I could make a bigger difference around the nation. And that's what I determined I would take that chance. And I believed if I didn't succeed, that I could come back and serve Detroit some more.
Right.
So I wasn't hesitant. I risked.
We're gonna the music is playing. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we want you to tell us the rest of the story. You're listening to 910 AM the Superstation. Our guest is Judge Greg Mathis. After this break, we'll be right back.
You're listening to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship, and our guest today is Judge Greg Mathis. And prior to the break, Judge Mathis was talking to us about, the challenges of choosing to leave public office as a judge and to take on being a judge on television. So you said before the break, you said the producer told you 20% of shows, 80% of shows do not make it, and 20% make it. And oh boy, has your show made it. So just talk about what made the difference between you being in the 20% and not the 80%.
Well, I'm told it's my relatability and the entertainment factor. I entertain as well as convey the law. Small claims, and small claims court, quite frankly, is nearly common sense. So the law isn't that difficult. So it's to both explain or for me to adjudicate. So I entertain first, and that's probably why people watch. They like the entertainment, and then they do get valuable information they could use both in the law, but more important to me, in their lives, whether it's some inspirational advice, whether it's some knowledge or some wisdom that can help change their life for the positive, or sending them to rehab. We pay for people to come to rehab. It's coincidental, it's not coincidental rather, that many of the people we have here are low income folks. They sue and they have time to sue, and every dime counts. Some of us can pass up on $500 and not go to court. Well, some can't. And so those are the people we accept, and we're glad to have them. However, many of them have many other life challenges because living in low income or poverty in and of itself brings a lot of challenges: alcoholism, drug addiction, crime, etc. So we see folks coming in like that, and I try and help them overcome those obstacles, either helping them with rehab. We help young people get into school in many instances, and trade schools, etc. So that's part of what we do, in addition to entertaining, having fun, conveying some wisdom, and inspiring people.
Wow, that's
the combination
good.
of those things have kept us on.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Sabrina, I know you had a question for the judge.
Yeah, Judge, just thank you. Thank you for who you be. You bad, you super bad. I'm telling you, my favorite judge forever, forever, forever.
Thank you.
Thank you for what you do. You've been a proponent for social justice, equality for so many years, very close to the LGBTQ plus community. So we thank you for the work that you do there, your allegiance, your commitment to just all communities. And so I want to ask, because like Crisette said, stay in power, especially in this day and age. We see many shows that come on for a year, it's one and done. Now your court show has been on forever. What expectations do you have for the family show? And tell us a little bit about your family. How long you've been married? How old are your children? And what have been some of the challenges in this family business, putting it out there for the world to see?
Yeah, certainly. One, as you heard, my wife and I met in college, and that was in 1980.
What college?
So we've been together for 42 years, married 5 years after meeting. So we've been married for 37 years. And we have 4 children. And the challenge, of course, when you're young folks coming out of college is money and getting into a career that will allow you to provide for a family. So early on, that was a challenge. I was going to law school at night while working for City Councilman Clyde Cleveland, and later for Mayor Young, and doing political receptions and running campaigns, and just all my work took me away from home. Probably from morning until typically 8 p.m., sometimes later. And my wife, she left the Detroit Public Schools to start a chain of preschools of her own. And so she worked while raising 4 kids, building and operating 4 preschools in Detroit, ultimately 5. And So that was the grind. And
Right.
then what that grind produced was some fine young people who are better people than they are anything else. Yes, they're highly achieved. 2 lawyers. One, my son, worked for the U.S. Senate. He's the highest ranking Black staffer at the U.S. Senate. My other son, producer on 6 shows, including Steve Harvey's. My one daughter, and this is where the service comes in, and this is why the Mathis Family Matters. What you'll see is that each and every one of my children have obstacles, as do their parents. Lord knows I'm flawed. And what you'll see is you'll see some of those flaws and people working to overcome them. My daughter, who suffers from clinical depression, Jade, also had a learning disorder earlier on. Well, she didn't give up. She continued and she went to law school, finished law school, flunked the bar 5 times because of her learning disorder and her intermittent depression. And now, however, she's a leading lawyer in Maryland and also is a leading advocate in the mental health and high demand.
That's
for lecturing, etc. Then we have a son who is gay, as you know, and we know how much discrimination against the LGBTQ community and how much injustice they suffer. And so I told him when he came to me, which was at 18, but now he's come to me more recently, telling me, and I didn't know, that he had not told everybody in his career level and where he worked and lived that he was gay. And so I asked him why. He said, because I thought it would harm your reputation. And so that really troubled me, that he would think he was protecting me by denying himself. So my advice to him was get involved in advocacy, fight against injustice against your community and the LGBTQ. And so even in the churches, I tell him to make plain when folks refer to their characterization of LGBTQ activities and sexuality. I'm not concerned about what people do in their bedroom. I'm concerned about injustice. I'm not concerned about people fornicating at the church, and I'm not concerned about the gay people in the church. I'm concerned about us not condemning people who fornicate, who are working, no doubt, to overcome that. Don't condemn or discriminate against them. Don't condemn, discriminate, or issue any injustice against members of the LGBTQ community who some think are engaged in sinful activity. So that's what I told him, to advocate for equality and justice and let the rest of the conversation take care of itself. And so all of my children are advocates in the areas where they have faced obstacles, which is what I did. As you know, I became an advocate for street youth and for poor people, poor Black people, all of which I experienced. And that's what you'll see in between all the fun. You'll see them struggling and working to overcome their obstacles and showing examples to others on how they can too, no matter what your income level is.
Wow.
Purpose-driven lives. Purpose-driven lives. Thank you. Thank you for teaching. Thank you for showing us the way. Most of all, Judge, overcome is who you are. You're teaching us to be overcomers, teaching our children to be overcomers. Thank you for being the example on so many fronts. Thank you.
That is so powerful, so powerful. I want to ask you, I know you have grandchildren now, so talk to us about, have they softened you? Somebody said this, and every time I ask someone that has a grandchild, they all say this: you don't know love until you have a grandchild. You really don't know love until you have a grandchild. So talk to us about, has it softened you? What has it done for you?
Yeah, that was the answer I was about to give. And that is, I haven't felt such a source of love since the early marriage. Since before marriage. Once marriage comes along, it's so much work You forget about the love from back in the day. No, but just that you get that innocent feeling of love, and it's just tugs at your heart so much. And so it's the greatest experience that I'm having in many decades. And so they're telling you right. It's a total different circumstance of love. And we have so much fun together. I see so many things that she has in her mother, my daughter Kamar's style and personality. And so it's just great to see. And
Wow,
my youngest
that is-
baby, she's 1 year old. My youngest granddaughter, Nora's 5. My youngest granddaughter is 1. Nora may be one of the stars of the Mathis Family Matters. She has quite a personality.
I can only imagine. Well, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back, we want to know what is the difference? What is the biggest difference between doing your judge show and doing reality show? Because I know those are two different things.
Yeah.
So after the break, we want you to answer that question. You're listening to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship on 9:10 a.m. The Superstation. We are here today with our guest, Judge Greg Mathis, and we'll be right back after this break.
Thank you.
We're back. We are back. We are back. You are listening. We got issues, and our guest today is Judge Greg Mathis. Judge Mathis, before you answer that question, we have a caller. We're going to go to the call line, and then we'll come back to you, Judge Mathis. Reginald, are you there?
Reginald?
You're live on the air.
Yeah, this is Robert. This is Robert.
Go ahead, Robert.
Okay, so my question is, first of all, I'd like to congratulate to have the show. Judge Mathis for the wonderful work you've done and the wonderful work you are doing. And I would like to say, man, it's not always how you start, but how you think. So it's great to hear your story. But a question I do have for you, I heard you talk about how you had a 20% chance of succeeding and winning through going to the judge position. So a lot of times in life that people such as myself and others, when we're presented with those type of statistics, sometimes we can get stuck in places through fear. So what was it that launched you forward in light of knowing that information, that making the decision to proceed anyway to run for judge?
You know, I've always viewed myself as having a debt that I have to repay, a form of redemption. I was really destructive as a youth in the city of Detroit. I think you may know of the Earl Flynn gang from those days. And I was really destructive. And as a result, when I went to college and knew that I had to transform and help rebuild a community that I had contributed to destroying, I made that commitment. And the best feeling in the world is a commitment to serve other people, I must tell you. And Sister Crisette can tell you that as well. And so once I began to serve our community and redeem myself from the things I had done damaging to our community, it just became a part of who I am. And I went and prepared myself so that even if I was not successful on television, I could come back. And as I said, I had served enough where I could run for judge again and win, I believe, and higher office perhaps. So it didn't concern me as much. And the point I'm making about preparation is that I always advise young people to have a transferable skill. Meaning, have a skill so that if that factory closes, you can go to another factory in Idaho and California and wherever you go, you can have work because you have a skill, a marketable, transferable skill. And that's what I had. I had a law license. I could practice law. I was in politics. I could run for another position. So I had alternatives. So preparation was the most important part of the confidence. Because I had confidence I could do other things if that didn't make it, that had a large impact on our community.
Wow.
Excellent.
Thank you, Robert, for calling in. That was awesome. You know, the community that you did some mischief and you did some things that you're not proud of is the same community that you came back to and rolled up your sleeves and did the good work. So we appreciate that. So going back to your question, having done a little bit, my husband Chuck and several of the preachers here in Detroit, we had a short-lived reality show, Preachers of Detroit, which was really, really interesting, how all of that, unfolded, and even being a part of that is something that I'm glad that I had an opportunity to have that experience. Not sure if I would ever want to do it again, but talk to us about the difference between doing your show on the bench and then doing reality. What is the biggest difference that you found?
The lack of authority I have at home versus what you might see on television. I'm really fronting on television as in contrast to what happens to me when I go home. I mean, I'm so tough, Judge Mathis, authoritarian, streetwise, ain't scared of nothing or nobody. Don't play me like no chump. I go home, I get all of that. I get played like a chump. I get ignored. Nobody listens to anything I say. They won't be disrespectful, but they just won't listen. They'll look at me like they're listening and then walk away, and I can tell they haven't listened. I get
That's funny.
marginalized.
That's funny.
Everything that you can think of, the opposite of what you see. But you also see the Judge Mathis, fun-loving Judge Mathis on steroids. So the fun that you see me having on television, in my own unique, fun way, you're going to see that moreover on Mathis Family Matters on E! Network this Sunday. Juneteenth is the first night, y'all.
Yeah, we're going to be there. We're going to be there watching. We have another caller. Regina, are you there?
I am. Great show as always. You had a quick question. What has Judge Mathis ever had? What was one of the funnier incidents that he had with the litigant in a courtroom? Or what did he learn from one of the litigants that was before him? What life lessons did he get from them?
Yeah, I can't remember. I hear this all the time. All I can remember are funny cases are ones that people bring to mind because the most serious, the things that make a difference are the ones I remember the most. And one was a young man who came to me. He was escaped the street gangs of Oakland, by the way, sister, and had moved in with his uncle or his aunt after his parents had both died, HIV, AIDS, drug related, and he had escaped the street gangs trying to do the right thing. Came to the show, the uncle dogged him, had thrown out of all his things out of the house, etc., because the young man hadn't adjusted to a structured lifestyle yet. He wasn't involved in any crime. He just had, sleeping late, not going to bed, or all of that. And the young man was 18. So he dogged him on my show. He ain't nothing to me, etc., etc. So I made a commitment to the young man that I would help him. And we had him put in the community college there in in the Bay Area, and recommended a church to him, one of the churches I had spoken at in the Bay Area. I referred him to go to. He came back 2 years later, had his associate's degree, and he was a youth minister at his church. So those are the cases I remember most.
Yeah. Awesome.
That so powerful. Thank you, Regina, for calling in. I love those are the stories that you remember, because those are the stories that make the biggest impact on those that come before you. So that was a great story. I can't believe, no, the music cannot be playing. An hour is gone so quickly. So once again, Judge Mathis, tell us, your show is going to be on Sunday. Tell us more about
this
that.
Sunday, 9:30 p.m. and again at 10 p.m. on E! Network this Sunday, Juneteenth, Father's Day. Showing the father to be a good father and on a Black holiday.
Yes. That is so powerful. This has been such a great show. Thank you so much for giving back and sharing your story with We Got Issues. We truly appreciate it. We absolutely are going to have you come back and give us an update, because we believe you're going to be at the 20% and not the 80%. You guys, you've been listening to We Got Issues with the Force of Friendship. We will see you on tomorrow at 6 p.m. Ciao, ciao. Goodbye, everybody.
Thank you all.